All right, we've got Jacob Arden on the line, podcast episode 3. Welcome, mate.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. Yeah, it's funny as how we got acquainted. We didn't really. I just found you in my contacts
Yeah.
and shot you a message.
And sent me a message, and here we are, and neither of us actually know each other.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is the most authentic episode that's probably we're ever going to have. It's going to be great. Um, awesome, man. Well, tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So Jake Arden, run Black Club Finance based in Bundaberg in Queensland. So just over 2 years in business now, but as I was saying before we jumped on, moved to Bundy 3 years ago. So followed family, all that sort of stuff. But prior to that, had been in banking for 7 years, so retail and then private banking. And prior to that was in accounting. So sort of had that natural transition. And then, 2021, banking was not so fun. So took time off with my eldest being born and just wanted a bit of a reset. And ended up have a couple of really good mates of mine that went out to be brokers, and got talking to them and then made that decision to go out on my own. It's a big punt. Kudos to my wife for backing me through that, especially that first 12 months. But yeah, now we're 2 years in, and we've sort of broken through that 2 year barrier and going really strong.
Mate, that's awesome. The point about your wife backing you, there's nothing like that, is there? The same experience to me going out on your own. When it makes a difference if your wife's got your back, eh?
Yeah, definitely, and able to pay the bills while there's not a lot of money
Yeah,
coming in.
yeah, yeah,
Joys of a commission business, that's for sure.
yeah. Oh, it pays off though. The ceiling is very high. That's the
Yeah,
beauty of
definitely.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Awesome, man. So, moving from the big Brisbane into Brisbane to Bundy, and it was because of family and kids, and that's why you moved to Bundy.
Yeah, yep. So
Yeah,
that
awesome.
was pretty well the only reason at that time. So all my wife's family had moved here. We both grew up in Harvey Bay, and then with the bank, and my wife's a teacher, so we moved around. We'd done Kingaroy, then I got transferred to Brizzy, so we'd done that. But it was just that time of life move to go. We'll be near a good support network, and made that decision to come up here with no long term plan. Our plan was always to go back to Brizzy, but lo and behold, we're here. I run a business. We're very settled. Our house, we're building a house, things like that. So we won't be going anywhere.
That's great, man. I'm from Bundy, so I big place of my heart for Bundy. Great growth area too. Like it's really starting to pick up.
It's massive. Like I caught up with a developer this morning, and they were saying like I think we've cracked over 100,000 people in Bundy now, or something like that. Is what he was saying, but just the amount of land, the amount of development, is phenomenal. It's now just the whole thing of infrastructure keeping up. Like there's an estate up here that's got 1,200 blocks going in, and they're all just selling like hotcakes. So people still want to come here. And the growth is phenomenal.
So if I remember correctly, and it's probably not relevant for the listeners, so apologies. But if I remember correctly, then you've got the airport, the Bunnings, and you've got that whole kind of highway that goes into like a desert area. I'm sure that's all being developed by now.
Yeah, not as much that way, but
Yeah,
it
okay.
is starting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a killer here. I think a delivery is about to come to the door.
Go
Um,
take it, mate. Go
but
take it.
but plenty more towards the coast in terms of land
Oh,
development.
okay.
But
Yeah,
the big
right.
guys are definitely coming in. Like Bunnings is there. We'll grab this.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. It's going to sit here in awkward silence. I'm not even going to edit this out. I don't care. This is cool.
You can cut it out.
No, I'm not going to edit it out.
um, well,
I'm not even.
development. So development is it's everywhere, and the big guys we were talking about that this morning too. Like you've got a Coles going out towards the coast. Apparently, a new Mitre 10 is going in, which Bunnings will probably follow close behind. Anywhere they go, they
Yeah, of course.
want to jump in. So a lot of those
Yeah.
big businesses are building in town, and they do obviously do a lot of research before they're
Yeah.
moving somewhere to know that they will do it. But it's just phenomenal how much is going on.
Yeah, there's like this rule of thumb in the investor world is if there's a Macca's or a Bunnings going somewhere, that's where you should be buying land.
We've just had a
because they've done all the research.
third Macca's
Yeah,
open in town. Like it's nuts.
yeah, yeah. Um, so what part of the coast? Because you got Burner Heads, Elliot Heads, Bagara. Where are we talking?
Yeah. Is this for which thing? Sorry.
So the development in Bundy, like
Development. A
where
lot of
the
it's
kind of
Innes Park. A
Innes
lot of it
Park,
Innes
nice,
Park now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
cool,
Innes Park, Coral Cove. That's
yeah,
where a lot of those really big ones are going in now. Just because there is land there. So they're able to obviously get in and do it, but just that bridesmaid suburb stuff. So you had Bagara and then Innes Park, and I was reading last week that Innes Park was fourth. So over the last 3 months, Innes Park was the fourth highest growth in Queensland. So 30 something percent,
wow,
33% or 31%. So, and your comparatives were like New Farm and Barden and places like that in Brizzy. So yeah, it's a big move for a place like that because it
yeah.
has been this undervalued area that is now massively increasing in value.
My mate just bought 5 acres near Innes Park a couple of years ago, so I'll have to
Yep.
check in on how he's
That
going
will
with that.
be worth a small fortune now.
That is so cool.
Yep.
All right. We better stop talking geographical because people are going to be like boring. Switch off. But Bundy, man, place to be. I went to school there. I love Bundaberg. It is, especially for a family, great place.
Yep.
Great place.
It's
Yeah,
an awesome place for a family. Yep.
yeah. So, what made you said moving out of banking? What I guess one of the big four.
Yeah, so I worked in Westpac Private. So I was a private banker, and
Nice.
then my last role there was leading the associate private bankers across Queensland. So I did that for just under 12 months, but just hit that point of just not enjoying work at all. And so I made that decision, like a lot of bankers at that time, to leave. And yeah, big portion of private bank left. And so yeah, I was just a part of that wave of resignations at that time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, guilty. I'm ex ANZ. 7 years was enough. 8 years was enough. Something like that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So out of private banking into mortgage brokering, and how do you find the shift now? Like from getting paid a salary, having the beautiful sick leave, and all the benefits that you get from employee life to none of that.
Yeah, look, it doesn't worry me. I think that there's so many positives that sort of stuff doesn't really matter. Like, yes, at times it is annoying. You can't take even a day off, really. Like, it's incredibly difficult to just take a day, 2 days. And yeah, sickness just doesn't. I think I've had one actual sick day in 2 years, and I was still on the phone, but just had to cancel meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the reality is though at the bank you didn't really take sick leave anyway. It was almost frowned upon to take a sick day. So there's not been a huge shift there, but it's more just the you get up and talking to the other guys that I know because there's been a lot of bankers go into broking. It's when you can just get up and do your job, not need to get up and sit in all these internal meetings and deal with the widgets and all that stuff that takes up a lot of time at the end of the day. So you can get up and know I've got these deals to work on and just get in and get your job done. But then you've also got the flexibility. Like this morning, my son was hounding me to take him to daycare, and I'm like, you know what, I can, and that's been a really positive thing for me. Is just like you're still on the phone, but I can take that half hour out of my day without needing to worry, and that will always be a thing as my business grows and staff come on board. It will always be a super important thing, and I've sort of had that in the back of my mind that obviously if I start getting complaints that clients can't get a hold of someone, then yeah, we got a problem. But if you're taking half an hour out of your day to drop your kid at school, I couldn't care less, and it was a big cultural thing at the bank. You were expected to be there. So I'm quite content not having leave and those sorts of things. For the flip side, or not, sorry, I'll take that back. I do have leave. Like I go away with my family, and it's a lot easier than it used to be. Like as I said, my wife's a teacher, so I can take a couple of days here or there. Still have to work, but get that flexibility that, like living in Bundy, we'll go to Brisbane. That's where my family is. To be able to go, we'll leave at midday on a Friday instead of needing to leave at 6 o'clock and those sorts of things. So it's the positives definitely outweigh the negatives big time. And like I was saying, you get through that first year. The first year from an income point of view is interesting, but once you can break through that and things start to become a lot more comfortable, then it's awesome. And you feel like you're truly doing the right thing by the client because you're offering, and
Awesome.
not to get into the real stereotypical broker response, but you genuinely feel like you're doing the right thing and getting them in the best position because you're offering them a suite of product.
Well, that's your job, isn't it? Your job is to find the best situation for your client. How can you not get purpose from that? Like that's what I love about mortgage brokers, and one of my biggest pet peeves is one, the banks, what the banks kind of how they treat mortgage brokers, which I think they should show a bit more respect to them, and two, clawbacks and these kind of clawback clauses that come through. It's one of my biggest annoyances because the broker will work night and day. It's stressed like crazy getting these loans over the line. And then for whatever reason, something will happen. And all of a sudden, all your
And I
hard
don't
work.
have an issue with clawback as such, purely because it stops the churn, it stops all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does annoy the crap out of me when it's like, I've had a divorce. So I've had nothing to do with the divorce, but they've got to sell the property. So now you lose that money. Or a client's decided to sell a house. And in this market, like in Bundy, places people bought for 300,000 and now worth 700,000. You go, well, I can't blame you for wanting to realize your gain. But yet we get hit. So that's probably my biggest pet peeve, where it's across any situation you get hit with it. Whereas if it was for a refinance or something like that, fair game. Like it is what it is. But if it's for a sale or someone's died or there's a divorce, I'm like, that's a bit rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Circumstance based would be much more sensible. I guess it could be gamed, but I actually really like that concept.
Well, yeah, yes and no, because it's more the thing of obviously the people don't need to provide any documentation to show that there's a divorce, or so it would be a hard thing to do, but yeah, that's where my frustration comes from, where you go, well, I've had zero part in that. And as I said, if it's a refi, whether it's like the broker refinancing it, that's like, well, that's on you. You know what the go is with clawback, or it's them, a client refinancing with another broker or a direct channel. Then you go, well, that's on the broker. They've obviously not had a strong enough relationship to do it. So, like, yes, it sucks, but you sort of cop it on the chin and look internally. And that's where I think you see, like, I don't know if you're on Finance and Coffee, but you see people blow up on there about clawback, and it's like, yes, it sucks, but it's a part of the industry. You've just got to keep moving. And yeah, they hurt at times, and there's definitely cause for them to be reviewed, especially for small brokerages. If you got hit with 2 or 3 million of clawback, that's a lot of money to just get whacked in a month. So there is definitely argument for it, but yeah, I do find it when people really blow up about it. It's like it's a part of the industry. It's been a part of the industry now, since Royal Commission, basically. So 7-8 years. We've got to learn to live with it. We can rely on MFAA, FBAA to lobby for it, but it's just part and parcel with the industry. It sounds harsh, but you just got to write more, and at times look internally. If you've lost a deal, then you've got to look internally and go, well, why did I lose it? And I think that's what some brokers don't do, is they immediately go to bank bashing, going, well, the bank shouldn't do this. It's like, well, you've lost your relationship with your client. So
that's good, man. It's that's good.
One of those ones, yeah.
I like that. Not quite the victim mentality, and more, self-reflective. That's great. So, awesome. Okay, so I've got many questions now. Have you got? All right, let's get straight into one of your. Don't tell me any details about customers, obviously, but have you got a cool story? Have you got a great kind of this made me feel like, yeah, I've done this thing for this client, and I'm just so happy about it.
I've got a weird story.
Yeah, throw it at me.
I had a client that I funded. I won't talk dollar amounts, but they came to me and wanted to fund their 50th birthday. So they're from Africa, but I funded a 4-day festival in Kenya. So not a $5,000 deal. And this lady, she was like, you know what? I am single. I just want to go and have a party. So he invited all these people. She had a rapper from Nigeria or something come down.
Awesome.
It was phenomenal. This thing. So yeah, she sent me videos of it all. But that was a cool deal. It was a deal that I prefaced with that there's going to be a lot of questions. I had
Uh.
zero questions from the bank. And I legitimately told them what it was for. It wasn't one of those deals where you go investment purpose and hope it doesn't get asked. I told them, I showed them receipts, and I was like, "This is legit." And yeah, they funded it, so no questions asked.
Wow.
But that was a cool deal because it was different. Like obviously, a lot of the stuff we do is just people buying houses and things like that. Whereas that was a proper cool deal where you go, I have
Yeah.
never done working in private bank. We did some weird and wonderful stuff, but I've never
Yeah.
funded a 4-day festival in Africa.
I love that.
Yeah, so
What
that's
kind
probably
of
my cool story.
that is a cool story. That is up there. Um, what kind of loan is that? Is that a personal loan? Is that a
No, that was just a equity release on the home loan.
equity release? Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, for personal use and
Yeah.
holiday, basically. But it was a good one.
Fantastic.
So with a smaller bank, and I'll say if you want to put a deal like that through a small bank, do it just after Christmas because the credit officer actually told me she's like we're too busy after Christmas
There
because we're
you
coming off
go.
skeleton stuff, and this was an
Yeah.
easy deal. Like I think the net
Yeah.
monthly
Yeah. Yeah.
surplus was like 4 grand or something, so it was
Yeah. Yeah.
fine.
Got it. Yeah.
But yeah, she actually told me she's like, I don't have time to deal with this. I'm just going to approve it pretty well because it makes sense, but we're not going to dig into what the money's actually being used for.
Fantastic.
Yep.
That is
So
interesting.
yeah,
That is interesting.
yep.
Wow. And so, Bundy, so, a couple years, we're coming fresh off high interest rates, coming fresh off cashback, refinances, obviously out of COVID and blah, blah, blah. So we're coming into this kind of weird scheme of high inflation, high interest rates, and things are starting to settle. What kind of, I suppose, people will be buying a home, or what kind of home loans are you seeing? You seeing more new builds, refinances, something in between, government grants,
Still a bucket load of new purchases or
new
construction.
purchase? Yeah,
So that's
yes,
that's a
nice.
lot of it. Bundy in general though has a lot of investors, so interstate
Yeah,
investors
big time.
buying up here because the rental yields are so good. But lots of scheme deals, lots and lots of those because rents are so high up here for what you're getting. People are wanting to get out of that cycle, and now with the scheme increasing to 700K up here, that has just driven prices immediately. So yeah, not a lot of refinances, but that's I know when you gave me a bit of the run sheet, that's probably one of the things of that post settlement client. Care, if you like,
Yeah, yep,
is doing a bit more of that. Not for churn, but just those rate reviews and those sorts of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of resi lending. I'm commercial accredited. I can write it, but as I say to my commercial BDMs, it's having the time to actually sit down and write a commercial deal. So I'm not actively chasing them. If they come across my desk, I will write them, but I'm not actively out there chasing them. And then I've just next week I've got an asset finance business starting. So I've employed a guy who writes asset, so that will sit alongside the mortgage business and get
Awesome,
up and running as well.
awesome. Okay, cool. That's good, that's interesting to know. So, why branching into the asset finance out of curiosity?
There's a lot of opportunity up here, and I was already referring a lot. So I did it a little bit on my own, but then, as people may know, the commission structure. If you're a mortgage broker and you're writing consumer personal loans or asset loans, it's not worth your time because you just don't get paid. So I'd been referring to a guy for over a year now, and just I was referring a fair bit to him without even chasing deals. It was just organic stuff coming through. So yeah, just made that decision. There's no one really up here. Well, sorry, I'll take that back. There's not no one. There's very few people up here truly writing asset, in particular machinery, and like it's a massive ag area. So there is
Yeah,
lots
yeah,
of tractors. There's lots of even just from equipment for businesses and things like that. There is a bucket load of opportunity. So it's just branching out. It's leveraging the good name that the business now has and just going into a different different area.
Yeah, great.
So new business purely from a commission point of view. That's all it really is. And then just start targeting a different sort of area of client.
That's fantastic. I know a lot of brokers kind of prepare for that first home buyer situation where 8 months down the track they want a new truck. The track 8 months down the track they want a new car, and so they consider the refinance option there, the equity release, getting the car under that, as opposed to. So I suppose which is
At
not quite
times
an
it
asset
makes
finance, but it makes
sense.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
No, but at times it makes sense. But then at other times you're like, because some people are like, I want to go buy a car on the weekend, and you're going, well, I'm not
yeah,
going to be able to do it. So, and where rates
yeah,
are
yeah.
like, and it's even the thing, like having that as a complementary business is on the flip side, it's first home buyers that already have a car loan where their rate, because they're not asset backed, their rate might be 13-14%. And so it's being able to say to them, hey, let's review that because now you've got a
Mm,
house, your rate may drop to 7. So we can pretty well halve their interest rate. So yes, from a business point of view, it's making money, but we're also putting the client in a much better financial position
so good.
by
Yeah,
refinancing it. So that's the thing, is we've got the complementary businesses, and that's very much a part of my business plan, is it's having those complementary businesses that are running.
that's so good, man. I like that. All right, awesome, awesome. What advice would you give yourself now if you could, go back in time 2 years, 3 years when you're kind of starting
I
out?
know exactly what I would give because everything's been pretty good, but
Yeah,
systems, having the
yeah, okay.
systems right from the start is honestly the biggest thing. So I'm with Connective. The system itself is really good, but you've got to
Mm,
build it.
yep.
And that was probably my thing. As I said, I didn't come out of broking, so I'd never seen a way to do it, not necessarily even the right way. I'd never seen any way to do it. And so that would be my biggest thing, is I would have probably taken that extra bit of time to make sure all the workflows were in place, everything was there, because like with Connective System, there's a lot of automation in there. So as you're moving through stages, it's automatically sending text messages, automatically sending emails, automatically allocating things to different people. So it's very good in that regard. And I've had to try and then build that on the fly, which takes a lot of time. And then you've got deals in flight and all of that. So, and then I hate the word, but you get busy. And it's like, do I spend a couple of hours building my systems, or do I get this deal written that has a finance clause in behind it? So it's in a prioritization. And then with having 2 kids, I don't like to then work like sort of from 5 o'clock. I don't like to work that much after because I want to spend time with my boys. I might log
Mm,
back on later,
yep.
and I've said this to my wife, like prior to kids, we would just work.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
just work through. But now it's trying to get that juggling act of going, well, no, it's after 5. Now it's time to be dad. But then it's also getting the motivation to jump back on after doing bedtime routines and baths and dinner and all of that sort of stuff. So that would be my biggest thing, is having the systems in place from the start, because that would have changed my business massively. I sort of wouldn't say I floundered, like it got through it fine, but would have just made things so much simpler from the start. And it's very much down to that client communication, and they're not chasing you then, because they've got that text message saying, hey, I've just sent you an email, or hey, we've got your stuff, we'll be back to you in a couple of days. All of those things, whereas I was um, manually sitting there to send that stuff, and then it's not recorded in the CRM. It's all that compliance side of things. So, that would definitely be my biggest one for anyone starting out. You can build referrers, you can do all that. That stuff's pretty easy, but if you don't have that groundwork, it's pretty difficult. And I think about it like I've said to people, I came out of banking where I knew how to write a deal. You then add in, if you're a new to finance broker, and you're learning how to write a deal plus learning how to do everything else, it would be a tough gig.
Yep.
Very tough
Oh,
gig.
for sure. Yeah. That's really good advice. That's really good advice. It's all that sharpen your axe, thinking, spending time just to sharpen your axe so you can chop your wood quicker. That's great, man. That's great. All right, a couple more questions, and then I'll stop holding you hostage on this
No,
podcast.
all good.
How do you go about getting clients then? So is it a word of mouth? Most brokers, it's a word of mouth, building relationships, networking. Do you try different kinds of marketing? How do you go about it?
Yeah,
And you don't have to give
so
away any secret sauce either.
no, that's okay. Like nothing I do, I think is groundbreaking. So when I started, you would know Bundy's a clicky place. It's probably not as bad now. COVID probably changed that a bit, where the whole mentality of were you born here played a big part. So that wasn't there, but that was a part of me going out on my own was a big punt because I didn't know anyone. Literally knew a couple of guys when I was in Harvey Bay that I played cricket with. That was
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So it was going out and pounding the pavement and just meeting people. I had to cold call real estate agents. I had to do all of
Yeah.
that. And
Good.
so then it became the word of mouth stuff where it was one leads to two, so on and so forth. Being well, most communities, you've got the Facebook groups where people will put it out. So that then became a bit of a line in the sand for me on how many referrers were on there. So I sort of took it when I started. There were some of the bigger guys in town, your national brands. They were very much the most recommended. And so I took that as a bit of a guide to go, well, okay, I want to be the most recommended in town. And that's always been my thing, is not necessarily to be the biggest, but to be the most recommended and that first choice when people are going through. And then, yeah, it became word of mouth. And it's only been, I went through a full rebrand sort of from May and it's still being rolled out. It's then going through the, okay, let's do some cool marketing things. So, like, I've just done branded beer, which has gone down. That's a referral present. Just, yeah, the full, like, new logos,
Yeah.
stuff like
Great
that,
shirt.
new websites
Yep.
coming. All of those things, and there's different brands. So Asset is there, but there's other different things that are there because the way I look at it, especially being in a regional town, marketing is not high on everyone's list, or it's very generic. It's just aggregator created stuff, which is not exactly amazing. So that's where I went and spent the money to work with a branding agency. But it's now going, we all sell the same product at the end of the day. So the point of difference is not the product. Like, yeah, yes, some aggregators have different lenders, but for a general rule of thumb, we've all got a source of 30 banks or whatever to pick from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's then going, well, what is that point of difference? So customer service gets you so far. It's now going, and that was the thing for me, customer service, complex lending coming out of private bank. It's now going, okay, I want to be known around town, not just reliant on referral source, sponsorships, all that sort of stuff, and then coming up with some different things to just be known in the community
That's
that are
great,
there.
man.
100% word of mouth is the biggest thing, but it's now trying to set myself apart from the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. I always thought, not that I'm any sales experience at all. I'm not. But I always thought the key to sales is, do I like you? Like, do I like you, and I will buy from you. That's it.
Yep. And 100% it's
Yeah.
that trust thing.
Yeah.
And so the trust
Yeah.
comes from two places because you get a referral and someone goes, yeah, this guy's good. But then it's actually backing it up and being able to do it. And that's what I think is wrong with the industry is that it is, well, in my opinion, it's too easy to get into. And so you've then got people that can't simplify things. And I think that's where good brokers do well because they actually understand what they're talking about. So there is so much stuff goes on in the background that a client doesn't need to know about. If they ask questions about it, 100%, but they don't need to know the ins and outs of how the bank assesses the deal. They don't need to know about credit. They don't need to know about all that stuff. They're in a highly emotional state
Yeah.
throughout the
Big
process.
time.
Like I had a guy this week. He was freaking out from last Wednesday, and finance wasn't due till yesterday. And I was like, man, just relax. And it's being able to have that confidence to go, let me do my job and go from there. Whereas if you've got brokers that are here, there, and everywhere, not accessible, that's a big one. So if it's a day of finance and they can't get you on the phone, they will be freaking out. So the confidence in how you speak, and there are times where I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to get this deal done, but I'm not going to tell the client that. That's my job to go and find the solution. And you're not promising them the world, but you're also going, let me go and find out and see what I can do. So I've been a big believer in that. I've only had one deal declined in 2 years, and that was because they didn't tell me about defaults with particular banks, and it was just one of those ones. Plus, they bought $100,000 Land Cruiser, so they annihilated their borrowing capacity.
Yeah.
And I really, really hold strong to that. I say no to deals because I know they're not there. And if another broker can get it through, go for your life. But it's not a deal that I'm going to go near. So it's that trust piece, and that gets around town that people go, even if it was a tough deal to get through, it still got through, and they had all confidence that it was actually going to get through. And I'm literally watching for a deal now that has not been fun. I'm hoping that it is approved this afternoon, or it should be. And that's been another one where the client it's been a difficult deal, and one of the partners doesn't fully understand how difficult their situation is. So they've been a bit of a pain in the ass, but should hopefully get that across the line this afternoon.
Good luck for this afternoon. That's great, man.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I can tick it off, and then I can sleep well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stressful gig. I know a lot of brokers, and I can see the stress. I know a little bit about the process, playing with systems and all that sort of stuff, and far out. I do not envy you guys.
I say that to clients when they're freaking out, and understandably they're freaking out, but I'm like, you got one deal you're worried about. I've got 20. So, and all of them, they take that as a bit of a laugh, and they're like, okay, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it is. It's that emotion. And I said to my wife, I feel a bit like a robot at times, where it does feel good to call people to say your loan's approved, but you sort of get off the phone and it's straight on to the next one. And so you don't have that excitement anymore. Like, yes, there's times where you're like, holy crap, I got that deal across the line. But yeah, that excitement is not there as much, where you're just going, cool, that one's done. Now on to the next one, because it's just trying to get them out the door.
Yeah. Wow, man. I didn't take that perspective before. There you go. Jacob, thanks so much, mate. Good luck with this deal today, and thank you for coming on. Yeah, got to have you back on sometime. When another Royal Commission hits, I'll get you back on, mate. We'll have a chat.
Have a chat about clawback.
But anything you want us to maybe give your business a bit more of a plug as well? You got the website coming up. We've got Black Lab Finance.
Black Lab Finance, yeah. So it's near and dear to me. It's named after my dog. It was a very big part of my branding, was having something that meant something to me. I didn't want it to be Jake's Loan Services or anything like that. So yeah, just based in Bundy. All sorts of lending. I know that's a terrible pitch, but it's a new website, new brand is out, and just trying to help as many people as possible through what is a crazy time in the property world.
Where do you see it heading? Last question. Where do you see it heading?
At this rate,
predictions.
It's not slowing down. At this rate, it's not slowing down. So, and the new baseline has been set. So I don't. It'll be an interesting 12 months to see what happens and what the RBA does now, because obviously the market has continued to run, but also then what the government does, because I think opening the floodgates has had a different effect to what they were necessarily predicting. And so they will hit a point where they've got to pull a lever and try and reel it in. And the scheme is going to be one of the simplest ways for them to do that. So June next year, we will see what their decision is on the scheme. Yeah,
government intervention with inflation and economy and property is always fun to observe.
Yep. Yeah. When things are done for political gain as opposed to with any thought behind it, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So no, but that's a whole different conversation, a whole different rabbit hole to go down.
Diary of a Political Observer podcast. We'll have that coming out next.
No, perfect.
Jacob, thank you so much, mate. That was a pleasure. I learned a heap, and I know the audience will have too, so I appreciate it, mate.
No worries at all. Great to be on.
Awesome.